I'm stirring a cake.
All right, well, welcome everyone to Kind Soups. We are cooking a delicious Portuguese chickpea soup today, and Marj is going to be leading us. So welcome, Marj.
Marj knows nothing. So the most important thing I'm going to repeat, no one else has joined. Let's wait till someone else joins, and then I'll repeat about the little adjustments we made. Just kick me if I don't say it, okay?
I will online kick you, yes.
Marj, do you have any opinions about using any of what they now call aquafaba, the chickpea juice?
No, I didn't. But when I rinse these chickpeas, I don't really rinse them. I just sort of swirl a little water in the can, and I didn't rinse them heavily. There's no reason not to use aquafaba. It doesn't matter. You know, we know the story. Soup is forgiving. Come on, you can use aquafaba if you want. This is the liquid from the chickpea soup, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. And of course, the only reason we know is because a 9-year-old told us. Is he 9? He's 9, isn't he, Olivier?
Yes.
Yeah, right. He knows more about cooking than, than I knew when I was 29. He knows more than I know today. And today I'm 33. I mean, oh, Hannah, stop laughing. I am 33. I tell everyone that. Okay, so I've got my onions going, and I'm just starting to add the garlic. Hopefully I won't up to that. Catch up at your own pace. So right now I'm just giving it another minute or so to let the garlic cook in. And then I'm going to add my carrots and whatever I'm adding, potatoes, which have been pre-cut already. I used 7 potatoes, but I used 7 potatoes because they were really small, and one of them was really not in great shape. So it was really only half a potato. But you can add as much as you want. You're going to blend these potatoes with your immersion blender. If you decide you want to get rid of spam, feel happy to kill your phones. If you want to save some of the potatoes so that you have little chunky pieces of potato in your soup, that's fine. Just set them aside and put them in, and you'll have to actually cook them. So you'll have to cook them separately, or you'll have to scoop them out after they cook so that you can have bigger chunks of potatoes. I do not do that, but we cooked this soup yesterday, and someone who cooked it yesterday did in fact do that. So I'm about to add my carrots and potatoes. Hello, Kelly. You missed some of my babbling about adding bouillon or something if you want to give a little more taste, okay? Here go my lovely potatoes and carrots. And I'm going to cook them I'm going to give them 3 minutes. And the only reason I'm doing that is because yesterday I felt my potatoes took too long to cook. And they're cut pretty small. They're not very large pieces of potato. So, but the other thing I'm going to do different from the way I did it yesterday is I am going to heat up my water in advance, because if you pour hot water over things as opposed to cold water, it takes it less time to boil. I'm sure there's a reason for that. And remember, as you're cooking, to stir periodically. It's easier to get things mixed up that way. Of course, you are going to, again, use the immersion blender on anything that's in there unless you rescue them because you want to keep the potatoes separate. I'm going to pour my I'm going to pour my chickpeas in and mix again. And then I'm going to pour in my first 6 cups of water, which has been warmed. And again, if you're going to add bouillon, this would be the time. Does anyone have any questions at this point, or are we okay?
We're okay. I'm okay.
Hannah is back on the call.
She is.
Hi, Hannah. What's happening at the jail today? Why are you not there?
Why am I not where?
At the jail.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh,
I'm done
I'm
for the
sorry.
semester.
oh, okay.
Why
all
are you in
passed.
jail? Why are you
They
in
all
jail? This is
Isn't
important.
it? It wasn't a jail. It's a prison. It's maximum security.
I don't know the difference, although I do have a friend in Iceland who got her master's degree, I think it was yesterday, in criminal justice. And she sent the coolest picture. I was so excited for her. So this is very nice. Now, where are you at the prison? What do you do there?
I teach anthropology. They have a college program that's run by Marymount College in New York, and this is in Bedford Hills, New York, and it's in a very pretty part of New York. But there's a concertina wire and a tower and numerous gates that we have to go through. And these are pretty serious felons, but they're very smart, and a lot of them want to learn. So I really enjoy it. It's a challenge.
That's fantastic. So they won't have a summer semester and then you'll be back in the fall?
Because I'm anthropology and they get their degree in sociology, I don't go in every semester. It sort of depends on what their needs are that semester.
So
Is it
cool.
men and women?
No, it's just women.
Oh, okay.
No, the men are Bard College runs the men's program in the men's prisons in New York.
Oh, okay. Oh, welcome back.
What?
I just said, welcome back.
Oh, well, it's really nice to be back. I've missed it. I did cook on Tuesdays, but I
Yeah.
managed to deliver soup for a few weeks during this time.
Oh, fun.
I should tell you something that you may be interested in. So this is going back a few years. I believe it was 2008. We were in Iceland. And at the time, because this person I know works at also with the women, there were, I think, 137 women incarcerated in Iceland. It's like, when you think of that, how many are incarcerated at Bedford Hills? I mean, a lot more than 137, I would assume.
Probably, I think it's like 700 maybe.
Wow.
Something like that.
Well,
5
and
to
this is-
700.
I think this was the only women's prison in Iceland. Look, okay,
Makes sense.
yeah. In Iceland, where everyone is related to everyone else, so anyone who's in prison is probably some distant cousin. You know? It's kind of.
So Marge,
Yeah.
you're only adding 6 cups of water broth at this time?
No, I added 10 cups, but I added 6 and I just added the second 4. So now I've got 10 cups in there now. And I wanted to heat it up and I didn't have anything that I could heat up 10 cups in. And I'm not strong enough to heat up, to lift the thing, because I was told about a week or so ago that they want to replace my shoulder. This is not something that is making me happy. So
No. All right, so add all 10 and then heat it to a boil and let it simmer.
yeah, and then bring it down to a simmer. And
Got
if you're going to add bouillon, you want to add it now as it's boiling. I use, as you know, you've heard me say in the past, this lovely fake vegetarian chicken consomme.
Got
So,
it.
but it's a powder. So I know that yesterday when we were cooking it, people were adding bouillon cubes and whatever they were doing, things, stuff. So I don't want to use this, I want to use a different spoon. This one is a clean spoon. And again, if you're adding bouillon and if it's not low sodium, don't add salt to your soup later on, because there's a limit to how much salt any of us needs. Again, the advantage of heating your water in the microwave is that once you put it in the soup, it will get hotter faster. So don't, you might want to try that. I am nearly at a boil. And again, the problem here is you're trying to get your potatoes are the biggest issue. You need to get your potatoes soft enough so that once you blend them, they will mush up. While we are waiting to boil, let's talk about spinach, okay? This container is the big container from Costco. This container is 1 pound of spinach. In my opinion, 1 pound of spinach is It's a lot of spinach. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just an awful lot of spinach. And I don't think you need to worry if you're not putting in a full pound of spinach. On yesterday's call, someone used frozen spinach, which seems to have worked. I slice my spinach, but it doesn't have to be sliced small. I just slice it because it's easier to eat that way. There were people who put their leaves in whole. I will probably use, I would guess, based on what I used yesterday, I think I use about half a pound of spinach, which is about half of this container. I have another container, so don't worry that I'm not going to run out of spinach. Okay.
For this soup, I left the leaves whole because the last soup I made, I slivered it and it just got a little slimier. This time, the whole leaf, somehow I liked the texture. I think I probably put it in much later too. I think I made the mistake last soup of putting it in earlier. But putting it in at the end and leaving the whole leaf just was pretty. I don't know why.
Deb, I think the problem we have with that, and I thought about this, is that we let the soup sit for so long while it cools that stuff gets slimy.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that.
Maybe, yeah.
But I'm going to use this spinach, and recycling day is tomorrow, so the recyclers will come and take it away.
That's why we plan our soup cooking on Mondays.
Oh, I knew that was the reason, because clearly all of Montgomery County is picked up on Tuesday, right?
Exactly.
Wrong. Okay, what's going on here? I'm almost at a boil. I'm going to turn down to simmer and turn my timer on for 15 minutes. And I have added my bouillon.
Can everybody hear while they're doing what they're doing? Can I share something new that we're doing that might be a place where you want to deliver some of your soups?
Sure.
You can hear. So we've been made aware, and I was vaguely aware, but I wasn't focusing on it, that the governors of Texas and Arizona have been taking people as they cross the southern border and putting them on a bus, offering them, if they wanted, a free bus ride up to Washington, D.C., where Washington, D.C., who is making the problems for the states of Texas and Arizona, can handle the problems in their own backyard instead of, not being able to see the problems that allegedly are being created. So we have had lots and lots of buses and people come up to this area in the last few months. The Montgomery County government is helping them at least eat and have clean underwear and clothes and things until they can move on to where they're headed next or become a little bit more permanently situated. So KindWorks has joined a couple other nonprofits and the county government and is going to be, or started today, asking people if they wanted to either cook meals to bring up there, it's in Gaithersburg, or donate to a fund that is going to be used to buy meals from restaurants, little local restaurants up near where they are staying. And then lastly, Denise and I and Cheryl were on the call just before we got on this call, and we asked if they would like KindSoups, and they very, very much would. So I am going to add a drop-off location to our list. It's in Gaithersburg, and it will say Kind Meals for Migrants. There's an opportunity for you to learn more about that on our website. But if you want to just keep cooking your kind soups and use these soups to drop off to them, that is a fantastic idea. I'll add that location to our reporting document form. And I just wanted to make everybody aware that that was going on. And that's another way that we can either use our soups or help in other ways. So thank you.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes, yes.
So do we think that some of the up county soup meals are going there? Do we know?
No, I don't think so.
I will ask. I will ask.
Okay.
them.
Okay, that would be great, Marge. Thank you. It would be wonderful if they would go there. But when we asked them if they would like soup, nobody expressed any awareness of what it was we were talking about. So it would be great if that could happen. Thank you.
I will ask. The problem I have run into twice now, and in fairness, Nikki, who normally runs the program, is off. She had carpal tunnel on one hand, and now
I have news. I have news for you, Marge. She's moved on. She's not coming back. She's not coming back. But anyway, go ahead.
Who's in charge?
I have her name, and maybe while we're talking, I'll find it. But
Is
she's
it
not-
Is it Raven? Is it Christy?
let me see what email I can find. Okay.
See if you can find it. Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, I really like Nikki. Hopefully her email's still up. I'll have to send her a note. I know that the recuperation from the first carpal tunnel took much longer than they expected.
Mm.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that's unfortunate because she really was organized.
Yeah.
I've run into the problem twice now, as I was saying, and once I actually took the soup back home with me where they didn't have room in the freezer. They weren't turning stuff around fast enough.
Oh, Marge.
So that last week it was not a huge delivery. I had your soups. I think there were 16 of those,
Mhm.
plus probably about, let's say 10 of mine, maybe 25 soups total. And I had a couple of Joyce's, maybe 30 soups total, whatever. Those soups went into the refrigerator. They have a big refrigerator truck, which is fine. They won't defrost immediately, but still it's not getting them in the boxes fast enough.
You know, Marge, if the demand is no longer there, it would be fantastic if you could temporarily divert your soups to a place where the need is immediate. And I don't think that this need will last. The idea is that this is a temporary support for temporary residency. So if you could, I think that would be a wonderful diversion for a few weeks.
So where is this going in Gaithersburg?
I'm going to put the address up. I'll put it in the chat for
Thank
you,
you.
and I'll put it up on the website.
Okay.
And it's really easy, Marge. It's like up to 70, like at 370. Like you don't even have to go as high as Germantown.
Yeah, but I still can't get back because I can't get, can I get on is the question. That sinkhole is still there. Last week I went via 350. You don't know about the sinkhole? There's a sinkhole right at 270 and 370, and you can't come southbound on 270. You have to do diversionary tactics or sit for 20 minutes until you get through the traffic. So yeah, that happened a couple of weeks ago, some sort of water main break, and it took them a couple of days to find out where it was because it was off to the side somewhere and they had to clear a bunch of brush to get to it, but they have found it. And then they said it would take a couple of weeks to fix. And I haven't checked in a few days. I think I checked on Friday last and it was still not fixed. So eventually it will be fixed. But yeah, it would be good to have a backup place. And, I don't want to upset the new manager. You'll send me.
No,
the
I
name?
think it's, at last I heard, I think it's Karina.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Okay.
And this was already 2 months ago. She was the one who told me that Nikki was out for a while, but then I spoke with Nikki and Nikki said, yeah, no, I think with their reorg, I'm not going to be there. So I don't know.
No. That's unfortunate because she really was very good. She really took charge. I was impressed with her. And I like all the people there. Everyone there is lovely.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, but I don't think they're all as organized as she had been.
Yeah. Julia,
Okay.
were you trying to ask something or say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when you donate breakfast, is it a hot meal or is it a cold meal, or what are you envisioning?
You know, there is so much room for what works for you and what you're envisioning. Hot wouldn't really work, although, you know, waffles and pancakes don't have to be piping hot. So, you know, that could work. If we could stay away from sugary cereals, and he even discouraged cereals at all. But you may want to go lunch over breakfast, but anything fresh, you know, because they're going to get packaged stuff as the backup when people don't deliver food. So if you want to, you know, see what fruit's on sale or go berry picking, or I don't know, anything that's better than what they get from Manna, you know, from like the soup kitchens kind of places, is fantastic. And homemade stuff is great, or fresh food is great. I'm not helping you a lot. What we do at the ladies' shelter is we ask for hard-boiled eggs and yogurts, and sometimes we get like the frozen waffles or French toast or pancakes. But go ahead, Cheryl.
Yogurt probably isn't a great idea because they don't the refrigeration issue. They may not have enough space in their refrigerator, so I would probably shy away from the yogurt. But I don't know. Do you disagree, Deb?
Not necessarily. It depends. If you're dropping off, you know, early, they're going to change the hours, Julia. And they're now saying drop off for breakfast can be as early as 8. So if somebody wanted to go up early and they could use them that day, then I do think yogurts would be okay. But if you're dropping off closer to the end of that shift, like 2 o'clock, I would think that Cheryl's probably right. Having to find refrigeration for 50 yogurts would be hard.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to do the best they can. And we have spoken with them. They're going to be sharing any leftovers or food that they can't refrigerate on a timely basis with another location up there. It used to be a men's shelter. Now it's a temporary respite stop for people passing through on their way where they're to wherever they're hoping to settle, and also to a Gaithersburg soup kitchen, which has been around forever. So there's a lot of working together on whatever people bring up there. So nothing that you bring up will go to waste.
All right. Yeah, because Maya and I are going to sign up for a slot, but we were just trying to envision what we could do, you know, and go to Costco and put together a bunch of stuff. And you know.
That'll be terrific. Yeah. And another thing that we learned, Julia, is that I think the county government will be taking over some of the food supports, but so our need is greater sooner and will be less over time. We've got the sign up done for the month, but if you guys are free this week or next week, that would be especially fantastic.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
All right.
you.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Marj, can I ask a question about, I'm so sorry, I came in late. So I'm on the water part, and you said that you were talking about bouillon. Is that in place of or in addition to water?
No, I was talking about bouillon cubes and bouillon powder. If you happen to have a bottle of pre-made bouillon, you can balance it out. The idea was that it gives it a little more flavor.
Yeah.
You don't
still put the 10, okay. So still put the 10 cups of water.
It's 10 cups if you want to add some of that jarred vegetable.
Yeah.
You know.
Bouillon.
Yeah.
Like better than bouillon.
Yeah, totally. I made fresh broth for this, Kelly, and used it instead of water, and that's good too. Anything's fine. You know, so often we need to have broth or bouillon. This one didn't request it, but Marj made some with her bouillon. I made some with broth. Whatever you have is great.
Okay, as long as it gets to 10 cups, that's our goal. To get to 10. Okay.
10 cups is good. And I mean, if you feel like you need a little more water, you can. It sort of depends on how many potatoes you actually put in or how large your potatoes were. You know, this whole thing of, 4 potatoes. Well, you can have potatoes that are this big and you can have potatoes that are,
That's right.
So
is the soup consistency thick at the end? Is that what is it? Or is it supposed to be a thin soup?
It's not, well, because you use the blender, it has thickness, it has texture. You'll have texture from those carrots. They won't completely chop down.
Uh-huh.
But
and then what?
but it's not thick. It
No,
just
it's
gives it a little bit of a soup instead of a broth. That's all.
It's not a broth. It is
Yeah.
not a broth, but it does have, it has some body to it.
And you held off on the remaining chickpeas because you want different textures, some smooth and
Yes.
some whole?
Yes, at the end, you're
Okay.
gonna put in 3 cans of whole chickpeas and
Okay.
you're going to put in the spinach. That's after you've done all your blending.
Okay.
That's the last step.
Okay.
Okay, and all
And
you're
I-
doing is heating them up.
Thank you for catching me up here.
No problem.
And I just
Uh-oh.
wanted to add, I added about 2 cans worth of the chickpea liquid, and yeah, no harm anyway.
No.
Seems to taste
Oh,
pretty good. Gives
okay.
it some body.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Did you add it? So you added it before, if you're gonna do that, I would say you wanna add it before you do the immersion blending though.
I did. I added it with the water, and I had low sodium beans, so that I might not have done it if I had had the regular chickpeas, but low sodium worked well for me.
I think it should be fine. I'm going to, now that you're saying this, maybe when I add them, maybe I'll drain in, or who knows? I'm not gonna do that. It's too much mushing around. Okay, so whom did we lose? We lost someone. Oh, I know. What was her first name? Senate?
Sarah.
There she is, Sarah. There she is. She's back. She's come back to us. Okay.
First time that's happened to me. Where I'm just, I don't know if you can see me now, just complete disconnect.
I see you. We see you, Sarah.
But I couldn't, it went dead. I had to reconnect through
Oh.
the link.
Oh,
Totally,
I don't know why. Maybe your
I
Wi-Fi.
don't know.
It must have been the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Yeah, your Wi-Fi, I don't think your Wi-Fi is consistent.
Exactly, not me. Correct. That is correct. That's correct. And the ironic thing was, it was only after I upgraded it with FIOS after 20 some years, right? And we start to have problems with it. It's crazy anyway.
So I have finished simmering and I know my potatoes are good, but I'm gonna set it aside for a minute just so it cools down a bit. In case it splashes, I don't want to get burned, so.
And Deb, I wanted to tell you, I had no problem leaving soup at here to help this past Sunday.
I know she told me. And I will share with you guys, I love helping them too. And I love like dropping off in Bethesda, but they're just so inconsistent. And so she said to us, we need to know that you're going to, people are going to, and I said, all right. And she said, and then I will commit to you to be a better communicator. So Saturday, like at 6 p.m., I think I was at the One Journey Festival. I saw Kelly and her family there all day Saturday. And when I was leaving or getting home, I got a text from Hetty saying, we're going to change the hours tomorrow to be instead of 9 to 12 from 12 to 2. Is that okay? Or can you, oh, no, she didn't say, is that okay? She said, can you let the volunteers know? And she got me after a long day. And I said, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So she said, okay, then I'll go myself and put the coolers out. And when I got there at 10:10, she was the car in front of me, and I texted her because I didn't see the coolers out. And by the time I had hit send, the coolers were out. So she texted me and told me that you delivered there too, Julia. So thank you. And she got a nice, she got mine and yours and Denise's. So they have the 10 to 15 that they want. And I hope, you know, it'll work out every week. But if it doesn't, we'll do the best we can. Everybody, there is no Kind Soup session next Monday together because of July 4th. But we'll be meeting again on July 11th for, I can't remember what Peg is making, but she's a great cook, so it's bound to be good.
I have to take off, but this has been fun to be back with all of
Oh,
you.
good to see you, Hannah. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week.
It's wonderful what you're all doing. I'm fascinated by it.
Aw.
It's a great influx of people that you're feeding. It's terrific.
Yeah. Oh, I bet they're in New York too. I'm sure there's places.
Oh, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
I'll be
take good
finding
care.
out more.
You will, I'm sure.
Take good
Have a good week.
See you in 2 weeks then.
Yep.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to put my blender on and that will make noise.
Okay,
Any last minute questions before I mute?
we're good.
I thought maybe Joyce would be on today. I know her daughter made the avocado soup last week, but I don't know. I'll have to send her a text message afterwards to see if she's planning on delivering it to me tomorrow morning. And who knows, she may have cooked this independently. You never know.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Remember that if you decide to add red pepper, don't go crazy.
I added smoked paprika to mine, and because this recipe reminded me very much of the caldo verde I had in Portugal. And their base is a sausage base, so I wanted something to get more of a sausagey flavor to it. It's actually very good. So I recommend
That's
it.
what I did too, Terry. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a quick blend of the spices. I think I'm done blending. Let me see how I look.
Well, it's not often I'm done this quick, so I'm going to show off my my handiwork here.
Well, let's see.
Very proud.
Wait,
It's
wait.
good. I like it.
Oh, I'm pinning you. Hold on. Keep it there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks pretty. So did you go with the whole leaves? I think so, right?
No, I had baby spinach to begin with, but I did chop them up, but not tons.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty. Looks
Yeah.
very nice.
Okay, I just put my chickpeas in, but not my spinach. What did I do right? Okay. The taste test without.
I love a good. Let's see the face. Ah, that was not a love. That was
It's
a.
too hot. It's too hot. That was it wasn't terrible. No, it actually tastes good. It's just too hot, and I need to add the spinach. Now my spinach is inconsistent. Oh, I just got some red pepper.
Oh,
This
baby.
red pepper aftertaste.
Mhm.
Okay. Spinach. Let me get this.
Question, you making a puree also or part of this? I usually make a puree and then add in some of the
Sarah, you're really breaking up.
vegetables, you know, to make it a little thicker. I was just curious about
Yeah,
pureeing with the
Sarah-
spinach. Spinach looks
Sarah, type your question or statement, please, into the
my
chat.
connection
You're really breaking up.
is so bad. I'm sorry.
No, type it, type it. Because then we can
Question
talk.
is, do you puree this?
You puree before you add second half of the spinach and before you add second half of the chickpeas and before you add the spinach. So the puree.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. And I understand.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
because at the end, you're going to add these chickpeas and spinach and have a little texture. Someone that cooked it yesterday pulled out potatoes at some point so she could add the potatoes back in and have chunks of potatoes, or maybe she cooked them separately. I don't know, but which is not a bad idea. I like that. The next soup I want to try, these soups are from a book that Joyce gave me. It's some sort of fundraiser from a couple of years ago, but I guess it's still being used, called Soup for Syria, which of course is backwards, but it does say Soup for Syria. And I've been cooking, I went through it when I got it. There are 29 soups in here I wanted to try. I've tried 5 of them. And the one I want to try next, well, I did try it already, that I really liked. Lisa was pushing for the curried cauliflower soup, which is actually, I'm not a big curry fan, but it's not a bad soup. Did you try that one, Deb?
I did not. Nope.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. And again, I'm not a big curry fan, but it was a very yellow soup. And my husband made a face at it, and then he tasted it and he said, "Oh, that's really good." Thank you very much. But the other soup that I liked was a Persian bean soup, and I'd like to do that as a group. Because it looks kind of cool. It actually, you know, I'm not a big broth fan. This is a broth soup, but it's got so much stuff in it that it's not very liquidy. It has 3 types of beans, and they asked for kidney beans, navy beans, and chickpeas. Well, I didn't have navy beans, so I used pinto beans. So you had these 3 colored beans. It was very nice. And it has lentils in it, and dill and parsley and spinach, and it had turmeric, so it had more of a taste to it, and cumin, so it had a little more of the curry taste to it. And I like this soup, so I think we should do this at some point. Did I send you the recipe on this one?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know that I don't think I've increased the recipe yet. I think I did. Oh no, that my note is that I doubled. What I doubled is instead of using dried beans and having to soak everything, I used canned. So that's how I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's pick a date and we'll do that one. That sounds great.
Yeah, put that one in. It's a good one. It's Persian bean soup. Pick a date. I'm not going anywhere. Where am I going? I go to the Giants. It's very exciting. Only with those silly golfers there this weekend, it was hard to get to the Giants. You know, I'm not allowed to go out that side. No, you have to go out the other side. It's like, okay. Yeah. I hope everyone's enjoying this soup because again, it's the world's easiest.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is a pound. This is a pound of spinach. You put this whole thing in? No.
No way. I would say I used about half of that.
Half.
About half. I think it's, you know, you can always add more. Let me mix mine and see how it looks. But I think
This is a lot. That's a lot of spinach.
I think half is plenty. I'm still mixing it in. I got it all in.
That is a ton of spinach.
It is too much. And I did do some cutting. I pulled off I pulled off some of the stems that were too large from that package. And then I did some chopping, but it's inconsistent. There are larger leaves and a couple of slices, but it's a mix. And as you may be able to see, there's a second lovely pot over here. That lovely pot is my vegetable brothing. That's not the word for it. It's simmering. What does it do? I guess it simmers because it's trying to make itself into broth. Let's see what it looks like. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to finish with that at the same time. It'll be 2 hours at the end of the call. Oh, I should tell you, when you put this in your containers, make sure you mix it up because the chickpeas sink to the bottom, the whole chickpeas. So you'd like to get some of them into each container. Barking at me. Dad, are you barking at me? Is that one of your dogs?
Mine. Sorry about that.
That's fine. Okay, with this cute little bowl of soup. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty thick. If you watch it drop, it doesn't just pour, it kind of, like a thin milkshake. How does that sound?
Delicious.
A carrot and chickpea milkshake. I like this soup. It's kind of nutritious. I think it's a good filling soup. And the red pepper definitely spiced it up. The reason I didn't use the smoked paprika is I'm not a big fan of the smoke taste, but I can understand why that would be a good thing to add. Yep, I like it. Okay, gets the Chef Marj seal of approval.
Excellent. That's what we're always going for.
Absolutely. Okay, did you look to see what we're cooking next week?
No, because I'm still doing a million other things. And I just remembered I told you all I would get, and you especially, Marge, I would get the address for this drop-off place.
Oh,
So I'm trying to get that right now.
we're doing the watermelon gazpacho. Were we doing the Melissa Clark recipe? Or
I don't
some
know
other one?
because Peg put that soup on the list. So she may have a new one in mind. I don't know. But boy,
Oh, it
that's a good
doesn't
soup.
say.
Have you
Yeah.
tried another watermelon since you were so disappointed the other day?
No, another watermelon, no, but I did buy, I made a fruit salad for Father's Day. So I bought a pre-cut watermelon, you know, we can actually see the inside, and it's so expensive. Like a quarter of a watermelon costs more than the whole watermelons did on sale, but it wasn't worth the risk. And a whole watermelon is a lot of watermelon. So I ended up doing whatever, and it was great. It was a good watermelon.
Oh,
So I
good.
don't know.
Okay.
I just got the bum watermelon or whatever.
Good.
Oh, you're
I hope
really-
so.
Look at you. You've got all your dates filled up. We're not going to do the Persian whatever until September. Oh no, I see September looks pretty open.
All right. So should I just grab one and we'll do it at the beginning of September?
August 8th. What's wrong with August 8th? You don't have
Nothing's
anything.
wrong with it. The only thing wrong with it is you may be doing it without me, but so what? That'll be fantastic. All right, August 8th, it's all yours. You want to send it to me, like increased however you want it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. So I'll do August 8th,
that's great.
unless I look on my calendar and see that I'm doing something. I think I'm going to
Okay,
see Hamilton August 2nd, which is
Oh.
interesting because I always go on Tuesday and it says that oh, that would make sense. August 1st is a Monday, so August 2nd, yeah. So yeah, I think we'll do the Persian bean soup on the 8th.
great.
Okay, so looking at this, we don't know about the watermelon gazpacho. Okay, but we are doing corn soup. Is that what I see? The corn soup. Oh, Denise, which one are we doing? Do you know? Have you decided yet? Is she still there?
Oh, she might have signed off because she was finished.
Oh,
No,
look
there
at-
she
Yeah,
is.
I do have a recipe and it should be up there, I think, but I don't
I
know.
see it.
Did I?
yeah, it's there. It's there. It's got
Okay.
almond milk in it. This looks interesting. Okay. Yeah, the thing with the corn, there's a corn soup in this Super Syria book that I tried, and it was really good because if you actually go to the trouble of taking the corn kernels off the husks, you put the husks into the soup while it's cooking. It adds flavor and the corn milk to the broth. So what I did when I made the corn soup is I think it called for 8 cobs heads, ears of corn. And so I put 4 into the pot, into the soup. And then the rest I used frozen corns because the idea of sitting and cutting kernels off of 8 ears of corn was not something that made me happy. So, excuse me, I have to eat my soup.
All right, I found it and I'm putting it in the chat. I'm going to put 2 things in the chat. The first one is the church and its address in Gaithersburg.
Okay.
And the second thing is going to be the link for Kind Meals for Migrants. And just know that you can drop soups off there if you want to. You don't have to sign up for one of these meals. You can just drop it off at the times that are listed. Actually, I'll send them to you and I'll add it to our reporting sheet. It'll just be some extra stuff that they get.
Okay. Kind Meals for Migrants. Okay.
You guys aren't going to love this, but the best time to deliver those would be 5 to 6 p.m. daily. I know, Marge, that is not for you, is it?
No, No, to have to come back down all the way to where I live. For those of you who don't know, I live at River Road and the bridge, well, basically, yeah, River and the Beltway, between River
Well,
and.
I will tell you this.
Out Carter Rock, it's terrible. You can't get
Yeah,
back
the
there.
guy said that I'm going to give you guys this number. And he said, if they text me whenever they want to come, I'm 20 minutes away and I'll meet them there or have somebody meet them there. So
Okay.
text this number 240-551-6102 to arrange delivery other than, oh, actually, he wants you to text every time you deliver. So
What's his name?
Oscar, Oscar.
Okay.
And if you say, I'm bringing 15 soups and I can be there in half an hour, he'll meet you in front of the glass doors at that church.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see, my problem is going to be is if I get to Germantown and they tell me, oh, they don't have room for the soups,
Yeah.
it's still going to take me 20 minutes to get down to wherever this is in Gaithersburg.
Why don't you call Germantown in advance and not go all the way up there? And just say, how are you guys fixed for soups? I have an alternative place if you don't need them right now or you don't have the room for them.
Because you have to find the right person. And by the time I do that, I could have driven to Germantown.
All right, up to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know they're like, oh, we'll take them. And Raven's running around going, no, we don't have a room in the freezer. Or this one's saying, oh, put them in the refrigerator. Yeah, it's kind of a little crazy. That's why that's why I was looking forward to Nikki coming back.
Yeah.
So I do need to find out who the new Nikki is.
All right. Sorry about that bad news.
No, she originally was planning on being back by now, but then they didn't do the second. I don't know if they had problems with the first. And they didn't do the second. I don't know. It's too bad.
All right. How's everybody doing? Anybody feeling like they want a little bit more Marj or Deb before we hang up?
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Sure.
Kelly.
In the chat, the first address, the Epworth UMC, is the church address. And that goes with the second one, because in the second one, when you click on it, it doesn't give an address. So this all goes together.
This all goes together.
Okay.
Yes. That's the address where you're going to deliver. The second thing is an opportunity to sign up to provide meals. And the last thing is whether you sign up to provide meals or you're just going to drop soup off at this place, text Oscar to let him know when you want to come up and he'll meet you.
I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to
That'd
take
be
it.
awesome. Okay.
So
And-
is anyone delivering to my house tomorrow that I need to know about?
No, I was going to, but I'm going to take it there instead.
Fine.
Got a couple backlogs, so they'll get more than just today's.
Oh, that'll be good, Kelly. Thank you.
That's what I was
Okay.
thinking.
Okay.
All right, everybody. It's
Thank
been fun. I won't see you next week, but have a great week, 2 weeks. And thanks for cooking with us. Be well.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That's
Marj.
right. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Marj.
Marj.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.